The Evolution of Skirts, created by Vanessa Oob. A skirt is defined as a free-hanging garment or clothing piece covering some or all of the body from the waist down. Skirts have been worn since ancient times and are one of the oldest garments in history. Originally, skirts were worn by both men and women due to their simplicity and practicality. Eventually, however, skirts became a predominantly feminine item with the invention of pants because men preferred them for horseback riding and working. Skirts come in many varieties. Some examples of skirt types are mini skirts, ruffled skirts, pleated skirts, pencil skirts, maxi skirts, circle skirts, denim skirts, and asymmetrical skirts. Now, let's dive into how skirts have evolved over the last century in Western culture. In the early 1900s, skirts were long and full, flaring out slightly at the bottom. As women's social status began to rise, so did skirt hemlines. For the first time, skirts started showing ankles. In the 1920s, the modern feminine style was redefined. Following the women's rights movement, women dressed more loosely and wore shorter skirts that defied social customs. Agitated by this change, male legislators tried to pass laws regulating female skirt length. In retaliation, skirt hemlines rose even higher and skirts soared to knee length, also becoming more colorful and freeing. Another influence on the 1920s skirt styles was the introduction of the flapper. Flapper-style skirts were jazzy and slimming, with short, swishing tassels. In the 1930s, the Great Depression was a heavy influence on skirt styles. Fashion became more traditional and conservative as skirt lengths dropped down to a modest mid-calf. Skirts were made with inexpensive, often recycled fabrics. Some skirts were even made from repurposed flour sacks. In the 1940s, skirts came back up to below the knee length and were generally a sophisticated solid color with pleats. Due to the World War II rationing, fabrics and patterns reflected availability, and therefore skirts were generally a simple, straight, and fitted style. The 50s are remembered as the era of the poodle skirt. However, while poodle skirts, invented by Julia Lynn Charlotte, were a stylish trend, they weren't quite as dominant as most people think. In actuality, the skirt styles of the 50s reflected the celebratory mood of the country following the end of World War II. Skirts fell at knee length and were full and billowing with bright colors and paisley patterns. The 1960s was the time of cute but casual. In the early 1960s, women wore shift skirts, a shapeless above-the-knee skirt. These skirts had solid colors and a simple but elegant style. In the later 1960s, Mary Quant's introduction of the iconic miniskirt caused the old-fashioned notion of proper and modest skirts to be a thing of the past. Miniskirts were well above the knee with bold and youthful patterns. The 1970s was a free-spirited time period. Skirts often incorporated floral or plaid patterns. Skirt lengths were to the extremes, with mini skirts and flowing maxi skirts dominating the time. The maxi skirts had a bohemian style and often had multiple layers, while the mini skirts were simple and solid-colored. In the 1980s, with the increase of globalization, skirts increased in variety. Short denim skirts were a common fashion for day wear, as well as light-colored pleated skirts that hung to knee length. A stylish party skirt was the ruffle skirt, its many layers giving it a fun, exciting look. By the 1990s, the 80s were considered overdone. The 1990s was the time of subdued colors and prints. Skirts were generally short and flouncy, and were often paired with long sleeves and combat boots. This style was so popular that the band Cake wrote a song entitled Short Skirt, Long Jacket. The movie Clueless also had a powerful impact on skirts. Cher Horowitz's style of mini skirts with a yellow plaid pattern was a big part of 90s fashion. The 2000s brought rise to the innovative asymmetrical skirt. Instead of a straight hemline, these skirts were long in some sections and shortened in others. Another style was the short denim skirt, making a comeback from the 80s. One crazy trend was the skirt jeans combination outfit. It was an interesting, although short-lived style of the 2000s. Popularized by the celebrities on the red carpet, this eccentric pairing reflects the whimsical vibe of the 2000s. Skirt varieties have changed in many ways throughout history and continue to evolve to this day. That's all. Thanks for watching.